Well, let's think back. We talked earlier on about the idea of authority, yes? And I don't know if you're aware of this, but our state of mind is linked to our vocabulary. Let me give you a quick example of this. Has anyone here ever been angry with someone? I mean, furious with someone in their life? I know you guys are too zen-like for this, but you can imagine someone who's been like that, right? And of course, when you're angry or furious with this particular person or individual, you've gone up to them and you talk to them, well, I don't think what you said was very nice, and let me just, help you move on a little bit. That's the kind of language they use, isn't it? Or do you something more along the lines of, you bleep, 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 ever bleep, 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 again, bleep. Is that kind of more the language that would have come out? Your state of mind selects your vocabulary. In other words, your vocabulary expresses a state of mind. They're linked. Does that make sense? So you can often tell how people are feeling from how they're talking, especially if you pay attention to nuances. Now, one of the things that could have happened, and we're going to experiment with that right now, is that when you're switching from the authoritarian, the direct style, which is the language of certainty, do this and do that, and you switch to the more permissive style, the language softener, which is the language of uncertainty, you may have accidentally switched into a more uncertain state of mind as well, which is what you're referring to when you say, just get on with it. I just want to have the result. You see, it's one thing saying, everyone just experience this for a moment, right? Close your eyes and go into a trance. And then open them again. Close your eyes and go into a trance now, please. Same language, essentially, but my delivery has switched, and so now you're probably feeling, get on with it, right? Now let's switch it around. You could feel your left hand. Once again, you're feeling a little bit unpleasant about that, I should imagine. I'm again exaggerating this a little bit. As opposed to, you really could feel the temperature in your left hand, could you not? Did that trigger the same thing inside you?
The second one was really better.
The second one was a lot better, wasn't it? So, the language is still the same. It's still the language that you said you didn't like. Now let's try your version here. Just close your eyes and go into a trance. Was there any resistance there? Come on back when you're ready. Did you say, no, I'm not going to do it? Why? My language was the same. It was still the teacher telling you type language. The difference is in the delivery of that language. Remember, we're coming back to this point again. We talked about earlier, what most people think is authority is just tyranny wrapped up in a nice package. It's typically when someone is uncomfortable with authority but put into a situation of having to have it, like a teacher, that the only way they can try and get control is to overdo it. So what most people think is authority is just those instances where someone's been inept enough at trying to do it that you've noticed. And all those other times when you haven't noticed, you've responded to it quite naturally. So I need you to separate the idea of authority from the caricatures that you may have had in the past, because authority, all it is just a sense of, well, competency is part of that, is a sense of, this is just natural. Why wouldn't you do this, right? Why on earth would I waste time saying, maybe you could possibly see it inside your heart to find a reason to stand up and go over to the light switch and turn it on? Life would be very long if that's how things happened. Or you could say, it's a bit dark in here. Why don't you switch the lights on? That doesn't feel the same sort of abusiveness, shall we say, to that. Do you get the idea here? So something in your tonality, something in your state of mind, something in your mannerisms will change the way that your language is perceived.